Very good morning, students. So in this lecture, we are talking about the excretory system of Pheretima posthuma, or the earthworm. So students, first of all, the excretory cells in case of the earthworm, they are the nephridia. So the excretion, it is occurring by nephridia. So as we know that nephridia, they are of two types. So these are the basic two types of nephridia. The first type is the pronephridia, which have got the flame cells, and the second type is the metanephridia. So here I want to emphasize on this point that the earthworm has got the metanephridia type of the nephridia. So it is the metanephridium type. So metanephridia refers to a nephridium who has got a nephrostome. So nephrostome, it is a funnel-like structure, and this nephridia, they are called as metanephridia, which are having a funnel-like structure. Now students, these nephridia, they are present in the earthworm, and these are basically of three major types. So we are now talking about these types. So the very first type is the Pharyngeal Aphrodia. So as you can well see, so there are present tufts of Pharyngeal Nephridia. So these are the first type of the nephridia which are present in the earthworm. The second major type is the Integumentary Nephridia. So as you can very well see on the top, it is written Integumentary Nephridia. And third type, which is very important in case of the earthworm, it is the Septal Nephridia. So here you can see the Septal Nephridia on the very right lower side. It has been written the Septal Nephridia. So these are the three major groups of the nephridia which are present in the earthworm. Now, one thing which is very important to know before starting the excretory system is that the whole body of the earthworm, it is segmented, and we have got various septa which are present inside the body of the earthworm. So this is one septum, this is the second septum, and so on. And these septa, they divide the cavity or the body cavity or the coelom of the earthworm in two segments. So the meaning of this thing is that if you take, suppose you take the segment number 12. So if this is the segment number 12, the coelom or the body cavity of this particular segment is divided and is separate from the segment number 11 and segment number 13. So that means the fluid which is present in the segment number 12 over here, it cannot go to segment number 11, or it cannot go to segment number 13. Now why is it so? Because of the presence of the septae. So these are the septae which are separating each and every segment. So the fluid or the coelomic fluid which is present in the earthworm, it is also separated by the septa into different segments. Now this coelomic fluid, it is having the waste products in it. So these waste products, they have to be removed out of the body. So these waste products of the coelomic fluid will be removed by the nephridia. So they may be Pharyngeal Nephridia, they may be, and these can be the Integumentary Nephridia, and those can be the Septal Nephridia. So these are the three types of nephridia which are giving out the waste products out of the body of the earthworm. Now students, we have to go for that how these nephridia, they are functioning in the body of the earthworm. Now, first of all, we will be starting with the pharyngeal nephridia. So, pharyngeal nephridia, they are present near the pharynx. That's why the name is the pharyngeal nephridia. And they occur in paired tufts. So, here you can see it has been written that these are the tufts of pharyngeal nephridia. Tufts refer to the groups of the nephridia. So there are three pairs of the tufts of pharyngeal nephridia which are pouring their secretions into the pharynx. So this is a very, very important thing. And these tufts, they are present in the segment number 4, 5 and 6. So they are only and only located in the segment number 4, 5 and 6. So they are the anterior segments in which the pharyngeal nephridia are present. Now how they function, actually what they do is that they take in the materials of the segment number 4, 5 and 6. They will excrete it out. The excretory products of this nephridia, they will be going into the pharynx through these ducts. So suppose I am taking the tuft of the segment number 6. So what they will do, their excretion will go like this into the buccal cavity or the pharynx. So all the excretory products, they will be thrown into the pharynx. So the openings of these pharyngeal nephridia, they are in the pharynx or the esophagus or the buccal cavity. So ultimately what happens that the excretion is now in the pharynx part. So from here, from the pharynx, the excretion, it goes out of the body through the intestine and it is going out through the anus. So this is the mode of excretion of pharyngeal nephridia. So they are pouring their secretion or excretion into the intestine. Now students, we are talking about the next type of nephridia, and these are the integumentary nephridia. Now they are present scattered all over the body, but they are absent in the first and the last segment. So except the first two segments, first and the second segment, the anterior ones, they are absent, and they are mainly starting from the segment number 3. So they are present scattered on whole of the body of the earthworm. And what is the mechanism of their secretion? That they excrete out the urine or the waste products simply out through the body. So this is the major difference between the pharyngeal nephridia and the integumentary nephridia. So integumentary nephridia are opening on the general body surface and they give out their excretory products directly out of the body through skin. Now students, after this, we are concerned with the septal nephridia, which are the third type of the nephridia which are present in the earthworm. Now these septal nephridia, they are present on the septa of the segments. So that's why they are named as the septal nephridia. And they are present after the segment number 15th. So they start from the segment number 16th. As you can very well see, they are starting from the segment number 16, then 17, and then 18, and so on. And they are absent in the first 15 segments. So here there are no septal nephridia, but they are starting from segment number 16th. Now this is the structure of a single septal nephridium. So this is a very important structure and you should know about it. So students, this is a Metanephridium type of nephridia which is present in earthworm, because as we have discussed earlier that all the nephridia of the earthworm, they are of meta type. So here, why it is called as meta type? Because it has got a nephrostome. So here we have referred to as the nephrostome. So this is the funnel-like structure which is present in the nephrostome. But in case of pronephridium, which is you can say the ancient form of the nephridia, in that case the nephrostome is not present over there, but it is replaced by the flame cells. So if flame cells or solenocytes are present, it is a pronephridium, and if a nephrostome is present, it will be a metanephridium. So this septal nephridium is of meta type, and it has got three main parts. Now, what are the parts of this septal nephridia? The very first part is the nephrostome. So this is a ciliated funnel which is having a mouth inside it. So nephrostome refers to, nephro means nephron and stome means the mouth. So this is the in pore of this particular nephridium, into which the excretory products will be taken inside. Okay, the second part is the body of this septal nephridium, and this body is further divided into two parts. First part is the straight lobe. This is the part of the body. This is the first part of the body. And second part is the twisted lobe. So as you can very well see here, so this is the twisted lobe. And twisted lobe is further divided into two parts. One is the proximal limb and second is the distal limb of the twisted loop. So here you can see the two parts. This is the straight lobe and this is the twisted lobe. So these are the two major parts of the body of the septal nephridium. The third part of this septal nephridium is the terminal duct. So this is present at the very base of the duct, which is opening out. So all the urine, all the excretory products, they will be going out through this particular duct. So they will be going out. So this is the basic structure of this particular nephridium. And if we talk about the mode of excretion or the physiology of this particular nephron or septal nephridium, it will be like this nephron is bathing in the coelomic fluid. So this septal nephridium is present in the coelomic fluid. Now that coelomic fluid has got the excretory products. Now those products will be taken into the mouth by the movement of the cilia, because we have discussed earlier that this is a ciliated kind of funnel. So with the movement of the cilia, it will take in the excretory products. Now first of all, these products will be going into the straight lobe, and then they will be going into the apical part. So after going through these channels, ultimately they will be going out through this terminal duct. So they will be thrown out. So now we'll be seeing that how these excretory products, they are given out in the intestine. So for that we have to see the arrangement of these septal nephridia. This particular diagram is giving the arrangement of the septal nephridia in a single segment or on a single septum. So here in the very center you can see the septum. So this is a single septum which is separating two segments. So it is a plate-like structure which is present in between the two segments, which is separating the coelomic fluids of the two segments. And over this plate, a number of septal nephridia, they are arranged. So this is a single septal nephridium. This is a second septal nephridium. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. So we have got a number of septal nephridia which are arranged in a very distinct manner on this septum. Now, what they do is that they take in the excretory products of the coelomic fluid, and how they are taken in, that first of all, if we take one septal nephridium, this is the nephrostome of this nephridium, the mouth. So the excretory products, they will be taken into this mouth and then going into the septal nephridium, and they are coming out from this duct, and each and every nephridium will give out the excretory waste products just like this. And ultimately, the excretory product of all the nephridia, it will be coming into this particular duct. And this particular duct is called as the excretory canal. So this is the excretory canal or the septal excretory canal. So these are two in number. So one is on this side and one is on the right side. Now these excretory canals, they are opening into the supraintestinal excretory ducts. So ultimately, the excretion from this duct will be reaching on the top into these two ducts which are present over the intestine. Now, ultimately the fluid, it reaches the supraintestinal ducts now. Now from these supraintestinal excretory ducts, the waste product, they go into the intestine ultimately, because in each segment these supraintestinal excretory ducts, they are opening into the intestine in each segment. So their products will be given out into the intestine in each segment. So ultimately we have all the excretory products in the intestine, and through this intestine these products will be given out through the anus, as it was given in the Pharyngeal Nephridia. So here we can see that Pharyngeal Nephridia and these Septal Nephridia, they are very similar in nature as per the removal of the excretory products is concerned. So in the end, if we talk about the whole of the circulatory or this excretory system of earthworm, so here we can see that the Pharyngeal Nephridia, they are giving out its secretions into the intestine, into the pharynx. Ultimately, they are going out through the anus. If we talk about the Integumentary Nephridia, they are giving their excretion simply through general body surface towards outside. If we talk about the Septal Nephridia, they are again pouring the secretion into the intestine. So ultimately, whole of the secretion of the Pharyngeal Nephridia and the Septal Nephridia, it is going out through the intestine, wherever the excretions of the Integumentary Nephridia, they are going out simply through the general body surface. So these are the differences between the three types of nephridia in earthworm. So that was all about the excretory system of Pheretima posthuma. Thank you.